not sure if it's gone live yet. So I thought I'd do a live stream. It's actually 5:25 a.m. right now. So I'm normally in Second Life, and well, at this time, because a lot of the people who I tend to interact with, they're in these other time zones. So I mean, I don't know what it is, but there's just not many people in this country, in the UK, who you actually get to meet in Second Life or even in social media, because there's such a lot of depression. I mean, psychological, and people, I don't know, there's such a lot of people that just want to cut themselves off from the world. But yes, but that's part of the reason why I like to go in Second Life, because myself, because it's a bit of an escape, but at the same time, it's yeah, you kind of still bump into real life problems over there even. But I was talking to my friend Dave about this. I was also talking to another guy in Second Life about this, about there's a huge amount of this what do you call it, it's I can't think of the word right now, it's just gone out of my head. Hang on a minute. You're going to wonder where I went. Well, I've got a thing on my door. It says, it's like a symbol to keep it out. I don't know if it works. But it's narcissism. It's narcissistic. It's when you come across these people who are always right, and they never admit to their mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, for God's sake, I'm a human being, you know, I'm not perfect. I mean, you'll never get a narcissist ever admit that they're wrong, or they keep making mistakes, or they make mistakes. We all do. But sometimes it's even harder for somebody with a narcissistic trait to even apologize, because that is goes completely against their belief in the self-worth. So we'll talk about a bit about self-worth and that, because there's something else I wanted to talk about actually, but I don't want to jump ahead, because this is kind of relevant in a way. So this narcissistic mentality, it's it's kind of born out of a deep-seated God syndrome, I suppose is probably the word, of them feeling above everybody else, and that their words are more important than anybody else's. It's an elevation, or an extreme elevation of superiority, where they prefer to belittle other people around them, and there's a huge lack of trust in other people's opinions. And even if the other person who has done nothing wrong, even if the other person is doing everything they can to help in some way or another, they'll often get blamed for something that happens that comes out of the blue. So this is what I'm going to talk about, is about these strange things that happen to us in our lives that we can't explain. So I talked about this previously, about what happened to me 1986 was it? Oh, check my book. So it was I wrote some diaries down at the time because somebody said you should write a diary. No, 84 was when this is what's weird. It was 1984 when I saw these freaking UFOs. Right, and I wrote it all down in the book. I've actually shared this about this before. And it was in 1985 that my sister committed suicide. A year later. And obviously that just destroyed me emotionally, because I was the one that found her, and we didn't see the signs, the telltale signs, the depression. It was not long after she gave birth to a child as well, and there was this postnatal depression situation with her. But I was young myself. I was, I was 24, I think. And but she cried all night. The night she came home to the family to stay with her, to actually move back out of where she was, where she was married, you know, the matrimonial home sort of situation, or flat. It was really amazing. It was after she came back, and we all just thought, well, something's gone off. Like, we don't really want to get involved with it because we don't know the story, we don't really know what's gone off, and we were ignorant. We didn't know what was going on, and there was just this weird time. It was very weird. It was, we're talking about 84, 85, 86, and it was in 86 when strange things happened after my sister had passed away. That's when this light came in. This freaking bright light, really, really, really bright. And it was I was living in the building, in the actual building where my sister was living with her husband before she took her own life. And that's when this weird light showed up, and it was, it must have been, it wasn't until 1987 or 88, or maybe was it 1990? I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was many years later that I was told by a medium, another psychic medium, that I saw an angel. And I just thought, oh, is that what it was? Because I couldn't figure out what it was at the time. I had no idea, because I didn't see it directly. I saw the light from it, and apparently if you see the light from an angel, it's supposed to do, well, it's supposed to bless you or something. I don't know. That's what I've been told, because somebody else says, oh, you were blessed. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows anything about this stuff? We don't. I mean, I don't. I mean, we're not supposed to know, are we? And you know, in the description, I put something about that. Are we living in a simulation? You know, because it kind of feels like we are sometimes, because we see these other people talking about the Mandela effect and time travel, and about how things can change in the past and affect the future. But you know, if that was true, if that Mandela effect was really true, then surely it would rewrite our memory in such a way that it would cause some sort of terrible side effect or something, like you see in that movie, The Butterfly Effect, which is one of my favourite movies actually, The Butterfly Effect, where this young man finds out that he can send his consciousness back into the past, into his own self, his own body, in a different time, and change what he did previously to change the outcome of where he ended up. And but when he did that, he got these terrible nosebleeds and all these things happened to him and all that. But you know, if this Mandela effect was true, I would have thought there would be thousands of people screaming out in agony and having nosebleeds and all this, and because of the brain being completely reconfigured. Because let's face it, when you create brain cells and memory cells, those memory cells would be eradicated and replaced by other ones. And yeah, it's confusing, it's really complex and everything else, but it's difficult to put your finger on something that's etherical and very what's the word, theoretical, or you can't really put your finger on any of that because it's all hypothetical, you know, it's not. But you know, if it's really if we really are living in a simulation, then isn't that just like changing the data on a hard drive on a computer or something? You know, you don't physically change anything, it's just the actual magnetic field has changed and the data's changed, but the actual physical structure hasn't changed. So there's that as well. So I was on about earlier at the beginning about this hang on, mate, my eyes are playing up again. I was at the beginning about this problem with people who are always right, and I never claim to be always right. As I say, I'm theoretic. I'm theorizing on a lot of this stuff right now. So I'm always open-minded. And you know, if something better comes along, you know, if something else that makes more sense, if I was to see it or experience it, I would adjust my thinking. I would say, yeah, that could be what it is, you know. But at the moment, I don't freaking know what it is, right? I'm talking about the ESP stuff, right, as well. Because this ESP stuff, this freaking extrasensory perception, what you call it, no one knows how it works. So one of my theories is that it's a kind of quantum level electrostatic field that's connecting everything to everything and everyone, and that we're all these transmitters sending out information, and all this information goes up to what's called the oh shit, I can't think of the name of that now. It's this source field, this it's like a big orb in the sky, if you like. The Akashic records, that's it, it's come to me now. So the Akashic records are supposed to store everything all information, all the consciousnesses, the subconsciouses, as in what we don't have access to. Normally it's our subconscious, what we experience when we're dreaming, when we're asleep. And so it's like a library of sorts. So the Akashic Records is permanently recording everything that we know and everything that we've ever done, so that when you actually pass over, when you cross over to the other side, that's when you die, you know, basically. You actually find yourself in this rather disconcerting situation, because you don't know who you are when you get there, and you have memory issues, but you're forced to judge yourself without knowing that you're actually judging yourself, right? So you're put in front of this mirror, basically, this reflection of yourself and all your past lives and all this, and you have to make judgments on this person. And it's kind of at the end of all that it's revealed to you that you've been judging yourself. I said, oh my God, I just said something really bad about that person, sort of thing, right? So you're actually judging yourself, right? This is a theory, by the way. You know, I'm not saying it's what is true, what's happening. It's a theory. Okay, I don't know it all, because I'm not. I don't suffer from what do you call it? I forgot what that was now. But anyway, so I was messing about with this dance thing, and I was thinking about how I could make it better, and because I don't like just these programmed animations where they're just dancing all the time. It's not natural. I mean, it's when you go to a discotheque, and you go to a real discotheque, as in or a club, or wherever you are, that's where you have to dance to the music. You dance it with feelings, with emotions. You feel the music, and it stimulates you in a physical way to make you animate. And I've got nothing against Second Life, but I think there's a lot of shortcomings in it. Some of the functionality of how it works leaves a lot to be desired. Let's just put it that way, because basically all they're doing is forcing it's a dilution of humanity. It's a dilution of physical and emotional qualities, because you're forced to use a preset animation that isn't part of you. It's an extension, but it's not really you. It's an animation, and it's not your animation. It's an in-world created animation that doesn't reflect you at all whatsoever, in a way. So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, there must be a better way, you know. I mean, and people keep coming up to me in these things and say, would you like me to animate your avatar? I'm thinking, what? So they offer you these scripts to animate your avatar. That is completely in unison. It's unity, but it's not unity. It's not unifying humanity with the virtual world. It's uniting the virtual world to the virtual world, if you know what I mean. But it's still separate from you. And I was thinking, well, is there a way to do that? And then somebody, it's weird, because it's like these strange things happen. Like people come up to me and they give me these things, and I'm thinking, what do I do with this? Like scripts and modules and things, and only the other day I was thinking about, wouldn't it be cool to be able to dance on a cloud and be happy and everything? And then it was like out of the blue, somebody came along and gave me a cloud. I thought, wow, I was just thinking about this the other day, and somebody gives me a cloud, and I can dance on a cloud, literally. And it's like dancing on a cloud is a symbolic, angelic sort of spiritual aspect, and it's about being above all this nastiness that's on earth, and in the angelic world, it's almost like being in the angelic world, basically, dancing on a cloud. But when you're up there, no one can see you unless you're another angel or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, maybe you could just dance on the cloud on the ground, and that works, Anyway, but this other person that gave me this script, these dances with 165 dances, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell do I do with this? There's no descriptions, there's nothing in it. And I thought, well, I'll just have to guess. And I thought, no, hang on a minute. I use my psychic part, my ESP part of it. Everybody's psychic, by the way. Everybody is, but most people shut it out. And I'll tell you how they do that. They shut it out because they don't believe in it. That's how. People that don't believe and don't trust their inner intuition, their own self, their intuition within, if they don't trust it and they don't, I mean, a lot of people talk about women's intuition, gut feeling, they talk about this stuff all the time, but they don't treat it like it's real. It's like an excuse more. It's more so like an excuse. Oh yeah, my gut just said it was bad, but then they shrug it off. They don't think more about it. It's like two ships passing them out in the night, sort of thing. But people really thought about it long enough and started to realise and start to connect the dots. They would say, oh, hang on a minute, this is real, But people don't tend to think like that. They think, oh, that's spooky. Oh, I don't want to think about that. It's creepy, it's spooky. Or it might give me nightmares. I'm like, there's all sorts of reasons why people don't want to dig into it and try to analyse it. But you're not supposed to analyse it too much anyway. You're just supposed to trust it, really. It's the sort of thing that can get you out of a bad situation. For example, these people that went to the airport to catch a plane, and something inside them said, don't get on that plane, don't get on that plane, this is bad, there's something bad going to happen. Those people survived because they listened to their intuition and they didn't get on the plane, and then the plane crashed. And so there are people walking around today that wouldn't have been walking around today if they hadn't listened to that inner self, that inner spiritual intuition, because it is real and it's happened many times. But people they always think the negative. Oh, this person must have been involved. You must have had something to do with this plane crash, sort of thing. Oh, what did you do? Did you plant a bomb? Blah, 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 blah. So there's always that negative side that creeps in. And people always think the worst, But you can trust yourself. You can stop getting emotional as well, because the emotion part, I don't mean that I'm not condemning emotion. What I'm saying is emotion is good when you want to express yourself on the dance floor and everything else, but there's a problem when emotion and spiritual connectivity come together. Emotion cancels out spiritual connections. It does. It's like a frequency. So a spiritual part of you has a specific frequency, which is like a waveform, a frequency. And emotion has a tendency to change that frequency. And when that happens, you lose our connection to your spiritual part of you, which is of a high vibration, because emotions tend to be on a lower frequency. That is the problem. Emotions are physical vibrations that we all have, and that is what gives us our excitement, our fun and anger and everything else that causes either elation or trouble, whichever you want to put it into, whatever phrase you want to put into it. It's always emotions, generally speaking, can be detrimental, not are, but can be detrimental to your inner guidance, because you can't judge situations properly when you get too emotional. I mean, we only have to look at the situation whether you've got somebody in court, right? Let's use that. Let's use this as an analogy. Somebody that is in a courtroom who gets emotional, but ultimately will destroy their case, right? If they're on defense, because people tend to see that as, oh, you're erratic, you're irrational, you're violent, you're dangerous, and so it can actually do harm to your personal status. So there's that side, but then there's the other side where you're excited and having fun and joyous, and that part of you. So there's, what I'm saying here is that there's emotions belong in a specific situation in your life, but they don't belong. They shouldn't be grasped, hugged onto all of the time, because sometimes they get in the way. They can get in the way, and so when I was studying this counselling, you know, it was like years ago, back in 2003, was it? I can't remember now. Was it 1998 or something? I can't remember exactly what the date. Oh, it's on my. I showed it the other day on one of my videos, I think. Anyway, so I'm losing my track of thought now. What the hell am I talking about here? So what seems to work for me though is when I'm actually in Second Life dancing, I'm kind of chilled out and relaxed, you know, and I have to find the numbers for these moves, these dance moves, these dance scripts and everything, and because I'm not physically, emotionally involved in the virtual world in the dance, because I'm not actually exuding all this physical energy, it almost like sends you into sort of a deep sort of REM state or sleepiness. And it was a funny thing, I was doing that the other day. I was testing this out at the Builders Brewery in the Sandbox, and one of my friend I was with at the time said to me something kind of iconic in a way, because he said, I'm feeling sleepy, he said. I'm going to sleep. I said, oh, that's weird. That's weird, because I'm like that. I'm sending this energy out of being in this like trance state, and I'm actually sending that energy out, and he's feeling it. He's feeling like he wants to go to sleep, but it was probably me that was doing it, because I wasn't intentionally doing it to him, but I was just giving off that energy because I was meditating, sort of thing, to get the number. You see, I was picking the numbers, and it's like people feel that around you. And I was also told something else that is really, really funny. A few years back, another medium said to me one day, she said, you know, you've got this calming energy, people around you, if they're anxious or angry, it's like if people walk into your area, it's like they just calm down naturally. I said, oh, I didn't know that. And she said, yeah, it's just you've got this calming effect on people around you. I said, oh, right, well, I didn't know that. And she said, well, she said, well, you ought to try turning it off sometimes. I said, well, I don't know how. She said, well, like a flower. She's like a flower that closes its petals at night. You're supposed to do that, and with your chakras and close them down. And I don't know. I'll try that. I thought, and I did. I tried it, and I was trying it. I kept trying it, and anyway, a few days later, I was stood outside. Went to the spiritual church, and I was stood outside, and I was on the steps, and there was another psychic stood next to me, and she just said to me, "What? We're just talking about the weather. Actually, we're just saying, oh, it's a bit cold tonight." And so yeah, I don't like these dark nights sort of thing, because we're actually going back into these dark nights now. And she just looked at me and she went, "You're wide open." And I said, "Am I?" She says, "Yeah, you're wide open." She says, "Do you like an open book?" I said, "Am I?" "Oh. Well," I said, "how do I turn it off?" And she says, she just looked at me. She said, "I don't know." So it was like, I can't turn it off. So yeah, I talked about this Reiki stuff leaking out, and it's kind of that really, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, I've got no secrets, so I don't mind if people read me like an open book. But people tend to, I don't know. I think it's the ones who have got dark secrets who feel threatened, because they seem to think that I can read them, but I can't. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. You only know what you're permitted to know. That's the way this spiritual stuff works, right? It's not like a TV set that you can change the channel and watch anything you want. You only get one channel, and that channel is filtered. It's how do you put it into words? I don't know how to describe it. It's screened. It's screened, as in filtered, right? So you only hear, or you only sense what you're allowed to know. That's basically what it is. So you can't go up to me or somebody else that's a psychic and say, "I lost my keys last week. Can you tell me where they are?" And the psychic medium will go, "Have you got something personal on you that I can touch?" And you'll say, "Well, I lost my keys, so I can't give you them. I've got my comb, could that help?" And I say, "Well," so some people do that. They do it by touch, and I say, "Sorry, I've got nothing, sorry." And when that happens, it's because losing the keys has an important symbolic consequence in your life choices. It's either to teach you to be more careful, or it's to give you a lesson in some way or another that you need to learn from. Now, if you was to keep losing things all the time and you kept finding them all the time, you would never learn anything. You would still keep doing it, because you'd think, "Oh, well, the medium will tell me where my keys are. Oh, the medium's going to tell me where I parked the car last night." That's not what it's for. You're supposed to learn from these frigging mistakes, right? We all make mistakes. I'm always making mistakes. I went and got my coffee out the other day, right? I nearly did it again tonight, by the way. I went and got my coffee jar out, and instead of putting it to fill my little coffee tub, instead of pouring the coffee in my coffee tub, I nearly poured it on my cup, right? That's not good, because my cup was wet, and it would have all stuck to the sides, and I would have like 2 teaspoons of coffee instead of 1. when I tipped it all out, it would have been like, oh my God, that's going to be a strong cup of coffee now. And yeah, I did that. I think it was a month ago. I nearly did it again tonight. I was just about to pour it. I thought, oh, that's my cup, not my freaking, you know, because the containers are side by side, you see. So easy to make stupid mistakes like that. And you know what? I think I need to go because I think I've said enough. I don't know how long I've been streaming for, but there was something else I was going to say though. So part of this, doing this dancing stuff, it's fun, and in a way I kind of relate it to when I did Oleg, you know, when I did the Adventures of Oleg, and to give Oleg life and to animate him and to make him, to alter his voice, to the text-to-speech voices were so sort of robotic and flat. There was no peaks and dips and no emotion. It was just completely flat, you know. And it was so freaking boring, actually, just to listen to the voice originally. And I spent over 2 weeks editing just the voices. So when Oleg was getting emotional, and I was adjusting the pitch and compressing and stretching the voice to make it more lifelike, you know. So it was like I was giving life to a piece of plastic, basically, to animate, to give this virtual character this humanistic kind of quality which he didn't have before. And a lot of people appreciated it, I think, but nobody says anything. Nobody leaves any comments hardly. There's maybe 1 or 2 people who said, oh, I just love Oleg. But they don't realise what went into making him the way he was. Because he was originally just a Lego thing that a guy scripted and made into a virtual model in flight gear, and he was just sat around us. Nobody really. So a few people flew him in flight gear, but it was nothing animated apart from his head and his arms and that, you know. It was very dull to look at. And I thought, well, maybe I can take it a bit further. Maybe I can give him some sort of life. So I decided to make the movie that when my dad died, because I was so devastated. And I mean, I'd lost my brother as well. Only 2 years earlier, and it was like too much, and I just threw myself into doing it. And I just thought, at the time it seemed to work out. It was like it's meant to be, sort of thing. I wanted to do episode 4. Everyone keeps seeing these posters where the Adventures of Oleg and Unity Alliance, all this shit, where it says episode 4. Well, unfortunately, I can't change that because my friend was the one that helped me make those billboards things. It was Mitchat. His name was Mitchat. And I've lost contact with him. I don't know where he is now. I've lost contact with Mitchat. I don't know where he is. He wasn't in England. I think he was in... I don't know, it might have been Sweden or Switzerland or somewhere, but anyway, that's gone. So, and it was kind of like, when I did that for the Adventures of Oleg, I kind of thought the same thing about my avatar in Second Life. It was like, maybe I can do something to her even if it's not physically change, I can maybe animate her in such a way. And then somebody gives me, miraculously gives me all these dances which had just numbers, and I'm thinking, well, how the hell do I use this? I mean, it'd be nice to be able to use this. I had no resources, I had no insight. Oh, actually that's the wrong word, no, because I did have insight, but I had no conscious understanding of how to use it. And it was when I started using my spiritual part of me that I was able to make the animations more acceptable, I think is the word. I'm not saying they're perfect, but it's definitely better than looking stupid and ridiculous. So anyway, that's the reason why I did that. It was like another Oleg in a way. It was just another animated avatar in a way. It was just that. So yeah, I think now I'm done. I think I spilled my guts basically on a lot of stuff, and yeah, I need to go. Oh my god, the shop will be open in an hour. Yeah, I need to go and get some stuff from the shop if I can. And I was gonna peel this orange while I was talking to you, but I got so engrossed in what I was talking about, I forgot completely all about it. Anyway, I have to, because I'm live streaming through my phone to my computer, I have to put my hands together to symbolise when I finish the live stream, otherwise I'll stop it and I'll be cutting myself off in mid-sentence. So bye for now.